All right, guys, motocross action. We are here with Ricki Gilmour. Ricki is from Australia, raced a lot himself, and now he is best known for being the right-hand suspension man for Eli Tomac. Eli Tomac is a beast to watch. He's a beast, 5 wins so far this season, and obviously he struggled the last 2 weeks, but it was nice to hear him be open and honest and explain, yeah, I had a neck injury, really, sore neck, and that was causing some off nights, but still got a third last weekend. So, Ricki, I mean, what's it been like for you as a suspension guy? Are you at every single race with him? I believe you are, right?
Yeah, I go to every single race. And it's been a little stressful lately because it was going pretty smooth at the start, and then we've been trying to do a little bit of stuff to get him comfortable on variety of tracks like hard pack and deep rutted. It seems like we had deep rutted figured out, and then going into Indy, we thought we were figured out, but then turns out his neck was pretty bad. So, and he just salvaged what he could and just get around safely.
Totally. Still impressive to see that he salvaged something like that on the gnarly track. And it worked out for him points-wise. For background on you, though, can you explain a little bit about your racing history and maybe how that's helped you as a suspension guy?
Yeah, just grew up racing in Australia, just local races, and then doing some Supercross and nationals, dabbling in that. But always I was back marker getting lapped, but still having fun with it and trying my best. And then I was friends with Reardon, and we would grow up racing together. But I was a little bit older, and he was the young guy coming through, so he's always spanking up on us older guys. And then we were good friends. So then he brought me over to the States to help him train here. And then from there, he went back to the States, and I ended up staying and getting a job with some teams and Geico, and met a lot of good people along the way that helped me stay, even Frankie Latham and LaRocco and heaps of these teams that I was on. And then a lot of good people around to help keep me here, because it's been hard when you're in between jobs and then having to go back to do visas and stuff. It's real difficult. So a lot of good people helped keep me here, and then still here.
That's cool. So would you say you're living your dream job, working as a full-time suspension guy, Supercross, motocross?
Yeah. This was everyone, we all wanted to be the racer, and then you try and take the next thing you can do. And I always doing my own suspension. So then friends started asking me to do their stuff, and then it just I always wanted to be on a team here doing suspension, but it would always just seem so unobtainable. But then, like I said, you start to meet some good people, like Frankie and Andrew Short. A lot of these people helped me, like Ziggy, LaRocco. A lot of these people helped me.
A lot of big name, but very well-respected names in the industry to help you out. So that's pretty cool. So I guess transition back to this weekend, Seattle Supercross. Coming into this as a suspension guy, how much of last year's footage are you watching to prepare for this weekend's race? I
always watch the races, try and geek out on a little bit, but last year went really well, but it was a little more hard than what I think we'll see this year. But keen to check it out pretty soon and see what we're going to have to deal with.
So we've already checked out the track. It's actually looking really good. Dirtworks has the track covered really well. So it's maybe a little soft underneath, but not too bad so far. Forecast is looking good for tomorrow night. So I think we should be good. I guess talking about the bike and maybe your relationship with Eli Tomac, you first started working with him when he was at Geico Honda, right?
So I was there. I originally met Eli when he was the amateur kid on the team, and I was there helping Reardon. And then I went away on another team, a Yamaha team at the time, Valley, and then I came back as a suspension guy 2011, and then Eli was his first year full-time pro. And we were just talking about it the other day, when he won the San Diego Supercross,
crazy.
And he's just a kid, and then now he's talking about how much more he's going to keep doing in his career. But so I've known him a long time, and then I actually went out to work for him in 2013 as a practice bike guy, because the team I was on kind of folded, the Shorty Chaparral Honda team that went down. So John called me to come out and help as a practice bike guy, because I knew him from the Geico days, and then went from there back onto the Geico team, and then and then he went on to Cowie, and then that didn't work out too good for me, but it's all right. He was real successful there. So. And then I was doing Honda stuff as KYB, with Cole mainly, a little bit with Kenny, but mainly with Cole. And then helping the Geico guys chase when he was a 250 guy.
Yeah.
With Dan Betley when Dan became the Geico team manager.
Yeah. So a lot of great name riders.
Yeah.
And a pretty awesome career you've had as well. I mean, Tomac has had an awesome career, and you've had a pretty awesome career yourself.
Yeah.
So I guess a little bit of the backstory. Eli didn't get to work with Ricki while he was with Factory Kawasaki, but Ricki was actually a huge proponent and maybe bonus to get Eli over to the Star Racing Yamaha team. And obviously we've seen the success that Eli has had on that team, so you know him better than anybody. I guess, what's he like on a day-to-day basis, and what's it like to work with a guy like Eli Tomac, who's at that caliber, scoring that many race wins, and also like looking at what's going to be the end of his career, because we're happy to see he's doing outdoors now.
Yeah. He's intense. Like when it's testing, it's like fully focused, and he wants to get the stuff done, and he might want to go down a certain direction and I'll want to go a different direction, but I have to explore what he wants to do because I trust the experience he's got at this high level. And then I'll try and get a package going at the same time he's got one going, and we'll kind of have a little shootout between it, and then we'll decide which way we want to go, or even try and implement both.
Yeah.
And then we're always like checking in with the team because they're in Florida and I was in Colorado a couple of weeks ago. So, but we're all communicating, and then Brian Kalmer's in Yamaha in Cyprus doing the engines and sending engines here, send all over the country. So everyone tries to work together as best they can, especially with these star guys because they have the most experience with Yamahas and are successful. So I'm always asking Brad questions and like, how did you come up with this? What'd you do here? Because they've had so many successful riders in the past with their 250 program. So I'm always bouncing ideas off them and trying to learn. And then the production guys like Butler, Preston and Tokarski, they help a lot too, especially with this new bike. And then if we run into them, because they came to the first test we had in Florida in October. I think you were there doing it the week before.
We were there the week before, breaking in the track for you guys, put some ruts
and then we were there the next week. Cool. So everything that they knew, like they just tell us and give us the heads up on what we're going to experience. So we got a big group of people we can pull from.
That's cool.
But like, back to Eli, like I'm just trying to see what will apply to him from that whole perspective of everyone else's ideas and input. So
that's super cool. That's super cool. So looking at Eli and his suspension settings and comparing it to a guy like me who's like a mid-pack pro rider, maybe 25th and back, how much stiffer are you going to build a setting for him than you would build for me? Because that guy's going 10 seconds a lot faster than me and hitting these bumps extremely hard.
Yeah, it's kind of different, like how you have to create the damping for him. It has to hold up, so it needs a good amount of low speed control, but it can't be harsh. So it's like what we all want, you know, like the bike that doesn't pitch and has the nice balance, but then you hit a big bump and the suspension blows off and moves. Like we all want it, but getting it to work for us is difficult. Like, so last year, because I used to have this bit of a theory, like I'm like 190 pounds, he's like 180, so it used to be like my weight offsets his speed and I could test for him.
Really?
But I got like heavier and slower, and he got a little heavier and faster, so it started to not work like halfway through last year. But then going into Parla, just through the phone, I was going to Kahia like once a week, and then we ended up getting something to work for him going into the last round. And then
and you were able to help him even though you weren't with him directly? Yeah,
because he was in Colorado, so I would ride during the week, feel like I found something, and then I would send it to him and have him try it. And
so you were riding a full factory spec bike or what?
It was pretty close, not full factory spec. I don't need the motor.
But you have a good motor.
Good bike.
Same triple clamps, probably same breakage, everything.
And then same too with the 23. Coca's just hooked me up with all the new parts and said, you need to start riding.
That's cool.
And that was what Eli told me when we were digging whoops during Supercross. He's like, have you ridden the new bike much? And I'm like, end of last year. He's like, you need to ride that thing a bit more. And I was like, I think you're going to be doing outdoors. He didn't come out and say it, but he was like, make sure you keep riding that thing.
Really? Okay, so in the back of Eli's mind, he was already thinking like, just in case I'm ready to ride outdoors.
He's like, what do you think of it? You think it can be good? And I'm like, yeah, I think it can be pretty good, but still got some bugs I need to figure out. He's like, well, just make sure you keep riding it. I'm like, well, I'm at the Supercross track with you.
How can I ride? While I'm here at the track. That's fun. All right, so suspension technician, you guys have a very stressful job, but if you get to ride a factory bike or a close to factory bike, that levels it up a couple notches. That makes it pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
So, I mean, dream jobs within the industry. I have a pretty cool one. I get to ride quite a bit, but that sounds pretty cool right there. That sounds pretty cool. So, all right, well, I think that's pretty much everything. I mean, we're really excited that he's going to be riding outdoors this year and doing the Supercross rounds. I guess as a suspension technician, what's your nerves like for those last 3 rounds, as we don't know exactly how the track's going to be Supercross, motocross wise?
I have tried not to even think about it.
Okay.
Like, my mind starts to go down that path, and I'm like, no, just focus on what's in front of me right now. Because I've even got outdoors before that. So when we get to that point, I think we'll learn a lot more about the bike these last few Supercrosses. And then figure out what we're going to learn from outdoors and how we can maybe apply somewhat of a hybrid. Just depends on what the tracks are going to be. But if they're going to be like the Atlanta Supercrosses, it'll just be full Supercross setup.
Okay, cool. And then I guess the last is we have the Red Bull KTM truck trying to park here. Looking ahead at outdoors, Star Racing Yamaha has a very unique setup with Dylan Ferrandis, past champion from outdoors, and Eli Tomac, multiple-time champion from outdoors, under the same tent, and you got to work for both guys, work on their suspension. So what's the mindset going like that as you start to think about outdoors? Because we have a weekend off now, so I'm guessing this next week is going to be a lot of outdoor practice.
Just depends on the weather too. Depends on where I'm going to be. I think the team mentioned they want me to come to Florida, and then Eli mentioned maybe Colorado. So we'll get them talking this weekend, and we'll figure out what the next plan is. But I think everyone's pretty focused right now on Supercross. Getting this somewhat to a point, so where it's going, and then we can focus on outdoors. But with Dylan and Eli, that's the 2 alphas going at it. And
it's gonna be cool.
Yeah, Dylan can hold his own, and then Eli, with those 2 going at it, it's going to be tough. Plus, Honda's got 2 great guys as well. So
with Jet Lawrence moving up to the 450 class, and then Jay Sexton battling with Tomac last year. It's going to be a big outdoor season with 2
4 guys that can win, and then even Jason, Coop in there. There's going to be a lot of good guys. It's going to be pretty exciting. That'll be stressful. I think Supercross is stressful.
That'll be
stressful too.
I guess. Is Supercross harder to where's more suspension testing and changes going on throughout the day? Supercross or motocross?
I think it's harder to set up a good outdoor bike.
Really?
But I would say that for everybody else except Eli.
Really?
For Eli, it's harder to set up a Supercross bike for him.
Really? Okay.
Outdoors,
he just makes it work
because he's so strong. The bike can be 85-90% there, and he's like, I'll do the rest. And that was what he said to me going into Parla. Just give me 1% with the bike, and I'll do the rest.
Really?
We weren't 100% there with the bike, and he was just doing it through brute strength and speed.
Crazy.
So he's like, give me 1% and I'll do the rest. So Supercross though, he wants it, and you guys have seen too, if he's not fully comfortable, he won't push it. Because the consequences are so severe. So it's more important to get that in a safe spot for him.
I respect it. Cool. Well, thanks for your time, and
no worries.
Hope everybody enjoyed it.
Yep.